Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Headmasters blog. It's Friday, the 17th of June, and what a busy and beautiful week it has been with the sunshine prevalent for all sorts of busy occasions here at school. Firstly, and on a theoretical note, just to check parents that you've received a letter from Mr. March about our paperless reports at the end of term. It is the first time that we have finally managed to achieve this as a whole school entity. We're very excited about it, and it is the fruition of an enormous amount of hard work behind the scenes. I can only promise you that you would not believe how many hours of labour this has entailed, so please bear with us. There are bound to be one or two teething issues, but in the interest of sustainability, it's definitely the right way for us to be navigating. But please just be understanding if and when the timings might go a little awry. Monday afternoon saw our 6th tea and talk session for girls and their parents. It had a very celebratory feel to it as we come to the end of what's been ultimately a very successful venture into co-education for KHS. Ros McLeod was her usual energetic self and really helped the girls think carefully about everything that they've elicited through this first year, and of course compounded by the fact they have so much to look forward to between now and the end of term, as well as some new joiners in September. And I think it's also just worth pointing out that moving forward, although we will still have tea and talk, it will be once a term next year as opposed to twice a term. It'll be much more reflective in nature for the girls, sort of in terms of philosophy, friendships, and things that really pertain to them in terms of who they can turn to and talk to. All of the bigger things, just like this year and just like before, will be dealt with for boys and girls across the spectrum, starting with an entire day of workshops in October based across friendships and relationships in a co-educational environment, and that is something that we're in the process of putting forward together. So all of the important messages across PSHE and moving forward will be very much open and united for boys and girls, listening and working together in unison, exactly how it should be. Earlier this week, I held some very impressive interviews with candidates from Year 7 for positions of responsibility next year. They all spoke really eruditely and enthusiastically, and we certainly have some difficult decisions to take, not just for them, but also for Year 10 into 11. And of course, prize giving will be the day of reckoning in that respect. So well done to everyone who's put themselves forward. That is very much the first foot that you put down on the pathway, and some of you will be disappointed and some of you will be exhilarated. That is life, but well done to all of you for putting your hat in the ring. You have to start somewhere, and as someone once said, if you don't buy a ticket, then you don't win the lottery. Thank you very much to Lisa Rees, Angela Glenn, members of the KHA committee who hosted Father's Day shop here on Tuesday. There will be some very happy dads, I think, this weekend, and I wish all of you well. I'm very much looking forward to it myself. Our rescheduled sixth form open evening also was a resounding success. It was absolutely baking. We welcomed nearly 20 institutions across the maintained and independent sector from a variety of different settings. Loads of you turned up, which was wonderful to support this event, given how much time and effort all of those exhibitors had taken to attend. And we received some glowing feedback about our pupils and about our families. So it was a really worthwhile event, and of course we will reprise that next year. Sadly, our senior lecture was cancelled at short notice yesterday due to illness, but never fear, it will be rescheduled. Simon Minty and Jane Chandler of Gogglebox fame are very keen to speak to you, and they will do so early in the autumn term. On Wednesday, our GCSE drama students performed their devised pieces with absolute style and substance. The scripts were handwritten, and although there were a few nerves on the night, they all performed admirably. So well done to Mrs. Hawley, and of course to all the boys and girls. It was a really lovely showcase. And on a related note, I can tell you that the title for next year's production has been chosen. It is top secret at the moment, but it is one of my absolute all-time favourites, so I'm very excited indeed, and I'm sure you will be too when that announcement is made. At the time of speaking, preparations are afoot for Marlborough House Day, which will take place on the playground in the field this afternoon. Thank you very much to Miss Black and all the teachers the pupils and parents involved in those stalls, and spare a thought for Nikita Patel and the Bronze Duke of Edinburgh students who at the moment are traipsing through the Surrey Hills, navigating their way for a bronze assessed expedition. Well done all of you. I hope you're keeping hydrated and that you find your way back safe and sound before the end of the day. Next Saturday promises to be a marvellous occasion at the Queen's Stand Epsom Racecourse for our Kingswood House Summer Ball. We are sold out. It's going to be a great night, and if you haven't made it this time around, do make sure that you come next year. I look forward to seeing many of you there in just over a week's time. Mentions and dispatches this week. Well done to everyone in reception for your astronaut training. Sounds fun. Mahe Noi, well done to you for all of your hard work and lessons from Mrs. Lambert, and William Nelson Bowling for great effort in English from Miss Smith. Really good conscientious approach for 5F this week with your exams. Miss Forbes, very proud of you. Elliot Woosnam asking some very good questions about chemistry, says Miss Summers, and she would also like to commend her class for their efforts in exam week. Mrs. Lindley, very pleased with the diligence that those boys and girls have shown in their assessments over the last few days. Good maturity. Torrin has been singled out for his hard work recently, and well done to all of 6S, showing the value of endeavour during their assessment, says Madame Swift. Buddy Lewis, and another nomination for Elliot here. Really good behaviour in prep. Well done. Into 7BA, well done to Hussein Khan and Will Foster for their great work over the last few weeks. They are exceeding expectations, which is always the right way round. And Rex Treadwell helping to make a really good willow sculpture in the recent art workshop, reports Mrs. Wraith. Sebastian Versace, Kishan and Henry Rusco all worked really hard on the Love Languages event, says Miss Black in her form. Gabriel Clark, Dylan Newman, Hanara, Troy and Akshita, all of them gave excellent suggestions during their recent careers programme that they looked at on Tuesday. Well done. In 7P, Tristan Bush, Jack Guiney, Alex Hayworth, Lauren, Pippa, Sammy Wood, James Dowling, George Dyson, Ozan, Kieran and Joshua all showed endeavour in their applications for their interviews for prefects, says Miss Patel. And Lauren, another nomination for you, a really good enthusiastic attitude for English and resilience to boots, reports Mrs. Bray. And Mr. Clark would just like to add to my earlier comments, really impressed with all of the Year 7s that put themselves forward for upper prep prefect interviews. You did a great job. Well done. Into Year 8, Sergio, well done to you for being welcoming and accommodating to the new pupils in Year 8, says Miss Foster. Ty Bobo is showing good confidence, and Harry Lation and Ty again, really good creative work for Mr. March in English. Zachary Howes in 8L has been working hard, getting his head down, says Mr. Lordy. Mrs. Hornstetter would like to commend Isaac for his impressive start to history in his very fledgling KHS career so far. Mr. Lordy, in general, very impressed with Isaac's start as well. And Madame Taylor, well done to you, Liam. A good first couple of days on the whole. I think you know what I mean. And Year 8 pupils, in general, really good perseverance for your walk through the Surrey Hills last week, says Mr. Lordy. Ben Holmes has shown good integrity and endeavour to achieve in all areas recently, says Mrs. Bray. Good to see you also at that sixth form event, Ben. Dan Pepper, well done for being organised with your Duke of Edinburgh before you set off for your expedition the last couple of days, says Mr. Hendry. Ozzy Sullivan and Fazan Jawed have showed good humour and entertainment, lifting spirits, and that is a very important quality to have, so well done, gents. Tommy Collins, really good manners. Madame Swift was about to enter the Peter Brooks building and Tommy rushed to open the door for her. Well done. 10H and 10W had a very good PSHE lesson, minus those who were away on the geography field trip. And Mrs. Hornstetter said they had a very engaged discussion on what it means to be a good citizen. And Mrs. Weston was very pleased to hear that members of her form on the geography trip were a credit to the school. Finally, into Year 11, just a nomination for Sam this week. He was a really good mentor for the Year 8 study group last week. He showed real enthusiasm to inspire the pupils and was also very firm with them. Sam Squire and Owain Fisher have also shown excellent positivity and a good rapport when mentoring the upper years, says Mrs. O'Shea. So that wraps up what's been a really busy, intriguing week here at the school. Next week, it certainly doesn't tail off. It's going to get really busy between now and the end of term. It feels as though we've got an event more or less every night. I know, for example, that we have careers meetings for Year 10 next week via School Cloud, which Mr. Sickday and Miss Black will oversee. We have an open morning for lower prep and year 5 on Friday, sports day equally for the whole school, firstly in the morning and then in the afternoon for the older children. So make sure you see the details from Mr. Hendry about that, and plenty more to boot. In the meantime, rest up, have a great weekend and enjoy the vitamin D.